I'd been living with my father's death most of my life. You see, he was one of those characters that always reminded you he was going to die. When I die, I don't want you to come to my funeral, he said. He told this to my mom, my sisters, anybody that would listen. I'm going to go away, disappear. You'll never know what happened to me. You'll never have closure. I was little. I didn't know what closure even was, except I thought I'd be haunted the rest of my life. One of the searing images from my childhood came from the fact that my dad often said, I don't want you to throw a bucket of water on my casket if it's on fire. You know, I imagine myself like Dorothy with the witch, and there he was, laid out with all those gladiolas all around, and American flag, and there I was with that little bucket of water. I'm going to put this out. He was right. He wouldn't want me to do that. So when you have kind of a kooky relative like that, like some of you in here have admitted that you have, you wait for that call. Someday, sometime, you're going to get a call, maybe, that this person has died. Maybe, but maybe you never will. In my case, the call came in May of 2004. It was my younger sister, Chris. She said, my father had a strange pen pal in Michigan. And through a strange series of events, he let her know that our father had just died that afternoon in Mesa, Arizona. My sister said, so I'm on a plane to Phoenix tomorrow at noon. And I thought, well, she's my baby sister. I said, all right, I'm on a plane to Phoenix tomorrow at noon too then. We got to Phoenix, and we met a secret saint. Have you ever met a secret saint? They often disguise themselves as social workers, pastors, chaplains, people like that. This one said she knew my father had next of kin, even though he said he didn't. He said he'd never been married, never had children, but she had dealt with enough people in her life. She knew otherwise. She said, put him in the morgue, and I'm going to look for his family. When my sister and I showed up, she told us that the hospital had had my father already for 9 days, and he would have to be evicted tomorrow. They couldn't keep him any longer. We were not sure what to do. We're stuck with the body. Oh, what do we do now? We talked about maybe trying to find some veterans cemetery because he'd been in the Navy. The lady kindly suggested that Mesa, Arizona had a county cemetery called Pauper's Field. At no expense to us, he could be laid there. We considered it. And then she said, would you like to go in the morgue and see him? My younger sister, Chris, said yes. I said no. And then I pulled Chris aside. I said, Chris, our sister Diane is coming to Phoenix tomorrow. You know the only reason she's coming in here is to make sure he's dead. We're going to have to go through this twice tomorrow. I don't want to do this, so let's not do it. The lady even told us he was the color of an eggplant. Ooh! And I'd already seen his driver's license. I hadn't seen him in almost 20 years, and the driver's license picture scared me. He looked like a shrunken little man with 3 or 4 little white hairs on the top of his head. That scared me. The thought of seeing him in eggplant color laid out in a morgue. And I even said to my sister, I have a weak stomach. Even on a good day, even if I didn't know anybody in there, I'd probably hurl. So we didn't have to see him. And the next day, when my sister Diane arrived, I pulled her aside as soon as she got off the plane. And I said, Diane, don't let us go in there and see him. Please don't. Don't talk Chris out of it. Well, you know what? We were good girls. We were good daughters. We were doing right by our dad. We did all the things you're supposed to do. We went to his apartment. We cleaned it out. We donated everything. We turned in his keys and all that. But we were trying to do the right thing. We were having those thoughts like, maybe he really wasn't so bad. Maybe it was all okay. But as we were cleaning out his apartment, well, first of all, I found his high school ring. You know what? His high school ring he had given me when I graduated high school. And one day he said to me, "Where's my high school ring?" "In my jewelry box, Dad." I went in there, it was gone. Gone. I knew it had been in there. And you know what happened for many, many years? All the times when I would want something, when I would have some responsibility offered to me, "Joni can't have an automobile. She couldn't even handle a piece of jewelry." And there that ring was in his little desk drawer. Oh. And there was no pictures of anybody from our family. Not my mother, not his brothers, his sisters, not us. Only one personal photo of the woman, Mrs. Tooman, that he said he did not have an affair with and accused my mom of being completely crazy. So you know what? My dad, I said, you know what? We're not going to spread his evil over Pauper's Field, where all those other people, only crime was that they were poor. No. My dad had in his desk drawer some information about donating his body to science. I thought that would be really good. I did that. I called up, and my sisters and I signed him away. If you ever have to do this, you're supposed to turn them in before they're 7 days old. If they're over 7 days old, they have to go to the tissue bank. And that's where we sent him. Now, everybody has their way of getting closure. Everybody does. After all that meanness, skanky, ugly nastiness in my family, we stood in a hot tub in Phoenix, Arizona with a bottle of fat bastard wine and toasted our father. That's how I got my closure.